Sarah Robertson, thank you for coming on the Business Advisory Show. Welcome today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And we have two fantastic awards sitting here that we're clearly going to have to discuss in a moment. You're in Melbourne for a couple of days. Do you mind sharing a little about your own business? Where is it and what do you do?
Sure, yeah. So my business is Addept, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. We're in Adelaide, based in Hutt Street. City fringe, so lovely little spot, lots of cafes around. And we also launched Addept Wealth last year, so we're financial advisors as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. And we've got two very interesting pieces of recognition here. We might start with your South Australian Award. This is the 2019 Best First Year Firm for South Australia, and that goes to you and your firm. Tell me a little about your interpretation of what is it that you've been implementing in the last 12 months that I guess has, perhaps led to this assessment and this award.
I think for us, being part of the Best Practice program, the biggest benefits that I've seen coming out of it is just that constant refocus on our business and workflow and team huddles and daily huddles and just making sure that everything is actually flowing, and that obviously has a positive impact on our workflow and also our cash flow as a direct consequence. And I think it's easy when you're in a business that actually helps other businesses to focus on those other businesses a lot and not necessarily focus on your own business. So it's really good to have that constant refocus.
Am I hearing you say that the more you get your own house in order, the more confidently and the more capacity you have to actually give value to the client base? Is that?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, because it frees up the time and the headspace to actually then provide great services and a great client experience.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, great. Moving on to the second award here. Now this, as I understand it, is about progressing through the structural development of your business and getting the foundation right and elevating yourself from a day-to-day grinding point of view. And the mantra, I believe, under this one will hold that up. It's quite a beautiful award, isn't it? 80% of what you do is done by somebody else 100% of the time. How truthfully and honestly do you look back and say, I'm now doing that. I, Sarah, am now running a business through the team and empowering the team to get the work done and helping them get it done rather than taking it off them, and which limits their development as well.
Absolutely, yes. And I can say honestly that is actually what's happening. So the team is doing 80% of the work 100% of the time, and being part of Best Practice has helped with that, and also I had to sort of focus on making that happen on the accounting and business advisory side to free up my time to focus on the Adept Wealth and financial advising side also. So there were multiple goals that needed kicking there.
Lots of hats to wear.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and so talk about your own team culture and the engagement, commitment of the team, and how important has that been, I guess, in many ways to you achieving these awards, this recognition. How important is the team to your own success?
The team is integral, and I've got a great team of ladies, not by design, but we all work really well together, and we have a flexible working environment, which really everyone benefits from that, and the business benefits as well, because when the team are there, they're really there, they're present, so it's great, yeah.
Yeah, and in fact you were one of the guest speakers yesterday in day one of a 2-day massive immersion, and what were some of the insights that you shared in your presentation and that you felt were important to impart and collaborate with others in the audience?
Yeah, so my key takeaways in my presentation yesterday were really be determined, be resilient, embrace change, because that is a constant, and leave space to create new possibilities. Yeah.
Fantastic. What do you see on the horizon for small to medium business in Australia? Are times going to get easier or more difficult? And if business owners aren't, adapting with cloud technology and so forth, what's the future hold for small business?
I'd like to actually refer back to something Andrew said yesterday in his presentation. I think for small business, if things don't change, we're going to see more and more small businesses having to put in long hours to be profitable, and that's potentially not sustainable in the long term. So I think small business will need to embrace change, as I was talking about yesterday myself, but also utilise technology, make things more efficient through the use of technology and the use of good advisors. Get people on board, get a team of people around you.
Yeah, I think Justin was one of the speakers. He spoke about doing work on his phone, away from even accounting work for clients and review work. And you evidenced a photo or showed a photo of yourself on a boat with a laptop yesterday. Is that the future for small business stress relief? In fact, that if they're using technology properly, a small business owner can in fact have a more lifestyle-driven ownership of their business.
Yes, I think so. I think that's going to become really important, and then they can get that work-life balance. They can have both. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Is that something that I think advisors could be really helping the small business or the SME industry to transition as the way accountants have been doing that as well?
Yeah, I think that's actually going to be really important because there are so many apps out there, for example. There's so much technology. So then the decision becomes, well, okay, that's fine. I want to embrace technology, but which technology and what app? There's over 800 add-ons for Xero, for example. And just in one particular industry, for example, in the construction industry, I think there's hundreds of apps. So which one do you choose? Which one, so advisors are going to play an integral role in saying, well, okay, for you, this is what's going to work for you. You get this bundle of apps. So you don't it's no longer just, okay, let's just use Xero, and that's our one-stop shop. It's Xero, and then you might look at something else to add on. Like, for example, within my practice, it's Xero Practice Manager as the workflow, and, all of that sort of thing. All of the different apps will step in and play a role in making the business more efficient.
Yeah. Do you think business owners are really embracing their opportunity to rely on accountants, bookkeeping in the cloud for more timely advice and insight and timely numbers? Is it a real trend, or is it still, are we all thinking ahead of the bell curve and we need to help business wake up to this value opportunity?
Yeah, I think we need to educate. And I see our role as being educators in that space, that by getting us involved in that, in the bookkeeping, in the app integration, in the selection of products to utilise in their systems and processes, as well as advising on their business and their profitability and their cash flow and all of that, they will really benefit from that, and they will get a much more efficient business, a much more profitable business, and it will free their time up.
Fantastic. What's your one piece of advice for the accounting industry, as in colleagues or comrades in your profession? What do you think they need to be most mindful of for the next 3 to 5 years?
I think similar issues for the accounting industry. I think as accountants it's easy for us to forget that we're actually running businesses as well. So we need to keep on top of and ahead of the trends in terms of what's happening out there, and the use of tech and making things more efficient and translating our value. Being able to translate our value to clients so they really understand how we can help them and why they should seek our help.
So the client actually recognises the value and respects it?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Well said.
Yeah.
And what about to business owners? What's the thing that pops into your head when I say what's the one piece of advice every business owner really needs to think about, from now into the future?
Have a plan. And because, ultimately with businesses you need to, it's great to have a great concept and a great drive and a great determination. You need to have a plan, and cash flow is king. So, have a plan that actually projects out how you're going to make it work.
Fantastic. Sarah, thank you for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well done.